Hello, QVS US History students. I hope you're having a good day. And I wanted to take the opportunity to present to you Essential Unit 2. Now that we have completed the first unit and you explored the early colonial period in US history along with the American Revolution, which was the formal break from the American colonies with Great Britain and the development of the American state, we're going to move further to look at some of the challenges that the country faced in what's often referred to in U.S. history as the critical period. Now, Essential Unit 2 takes us much farther than just the period immediately after the American Revolution. We'll move further into the 19th century as well and examine how the country evolved during the first 5 presidencies of the United States. So you'll be looking at a lot of history related to George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and James Monroe. That's the time period that we are investigating in this unit. And I'm going to take you to the course page now so that you can see how you should move through Essential Unit 2, but more particularly week 1 of Essential Unit 2. However, the first thing that I'm going to do when I take you to the course page is yet again remind you how to open the grade book so that you can track your progress in the course and you can see where you can find information that I leave for you related to your grade. So let's go to the course page. And like I said, let's begin with the grade book. So once you're on the course page, let me remind you of this icon over here in the top left, these 3 bars. If you click on that icon, it will open up a menu of options. Now our menu doesn't look the same. However, one feature that is common is the grade hyperlink. So if you click on grades, it will open up for you the grade book. Now, again, I have all of you listed here in the grade book, but I'm going to take it to user report so it just identifies or focuses on me as the student. So when you get to the grade book, you're going to see a tab for Essential Unit 1. And then you'll see the whole list of activities that are included in Essential Unit 1. Next to those activities, you should see this area populated with a grade, whether it be a point score or an A or a B or mastery or above mastery. And generally, I try to also make it a habit to leave feedback for you. So you'll have a comment or two based on my conclusions on your progress on any given assignment. One item that you want to look for especially is this item right here that is a placeholder for your Essential Unit grade. This one happens to be for Essential Unit 1. And when you complete the unit, I will always leave you comment and feedback there as to the entirety of your grade for the unit and my overall impressions of how you progress through the unit. Okay, so this is something that you want to check in on regularly, the grade book. So again, you can get to it by clicking the icon up here and then clicking on grades. Okay, so let me take you back to the course page now. And last time we were together, you were finishing up Essential Unit 1. Now, Essential Unit 1 will remain open. I'm not going to make it unavailable to you. So if you're not yet ready for Essential Unit 2, I think the best thing that you can do is continue with Essential Unit 1 until you complete it in its entirety. And then Essential Unit 2 will be available to you. So I'm going to open Essential Unit 2. And like the first unit, you can see that this one starts off with a time period. So Essential Unit 2 will take us from 1781 to 1850. This unit title is called A New Nation. If you scroll down, you can see the unit overview. So one of the first features that we will look at, in this painting illustrates that, is the ratification for the new plan of government, which was called the U.S. Constitution, or I should say it's a living document because the country still operates off of the Constitution today. However, it didn't come easy for the United States. In the early period, we often refer to it as the critical age, because before the U.S. Constitution was ratified in 1789, the government operated under what was called the Articles of Confederation. So before the Constitution, the United States had a different government, and that's important to note. And its style and structure was radically different from what it is today. In fact, under Great Britain, the American colonies functioned under what was called a unitary system, where they had a monarch and the government was very centralized. Well, after the Revolution, the young country changed to a confederation, which is completely opposite from a unitary system. It was a loose collection of states that operated under a confederation or an agreement, but the country found that that was a very challenging political structure to operate under. So between 1787 and 1789, a group of founding fathers, as they are called today, met together to, so as I was saying, that between 1787 and 1789, they changed that government and structured the country under a federal system under the U.S. Constitution. And in this unit, we will explore that. So the unit overview, the unit will run for 4 weeks from October 5th through October 30th. And then you're going to find the textbook is available for you here under the unit resource sections. I have a little study guide here for you as well. A video link about Andrew Jackson, so that will be interesting for you to look at, among other things. Now, under the next section, you have the unit activities that are required for mastery, and you can see, just like in Unit 1, I have it broken down week by week by week, and in the final week, I like to call it a work week, because what you have there is time to get caught up on week 1 through 3, along with the unit test and the A-level activity, which is another essay for this unit, okay? So I want to take you back to week 1 and speak more particularly to that week to kind of give you a sense of what you will be investigating during week 1. In the first activity, this is one of those SCORM packages where you will examine the Articles of Confederation. So the country operated under the Articles of Confederation from 1781 to 1787. And as I explained before, it was a very decentralized system. And as it goes, when political structures are decentralized, they often have a problem with unity. And what the colonies or the young country came to see during this period was there were a lot of challenges that they faced, especially as they incurred a lot of debt from the American Revolution, and especially as it was with the case in how they were dealing with threats from Native Americans, which at one point in time were taken care of largely by the British when the colonies were under British rule. So in this first activity, it's a SCORM package. You will explore the challenges that the country faced under the Articles of Confederation. Now, it's on an activity like this that I really need you to be careful. This is the type of activity where you type in your free response questions, and I just want to remind you that it's especially important that you type in your name at the end of the activity and click email score report so that your free response answers are sent to me, where then I can go in the grade book and update the grade and leave you some comments, okay? The next activity kind of carries on with the Articles of Confederation introduction. There's a forum here. So if I go ahead and open the forum for you, you'll watch another little video about the Articles of Confederation. And ultimately, what you're going to do is look at a number of different documents, one from George Washington, who came to be the first president of the United States, one from Thomas Jefferson, and one from Patrick Henry. All of these surrounding issues that arose during the Confederation period. What this is ultimately going to lead us to is a discussion on whether or not you think the United States could have survived under a Confederate system. Now, before you can really participate in this forum, you'll have to take a look at the first activity in looking at what a confederation was and how the young country was designed. Moving on to the next activity, this again builds on activity 1 and 1A, because in this one it's an offline assignment where you will be outlining for me the strengths and weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation. One of the big problems during the Confederate period was uprisings in the different states. And a good example of this was Shays' Rebellion in Massachusetts. And it largely dealt with veterans of war who, when they went back to their villages, had incurred debt. And as a result of them fighting in the war, they did not have the funds to pay that debt. And they found that a lot of their land was being confiscated because they did not pay off their mortgages. So there was an uprising in the 1780s called Shays' Rebellion. And you're going to take a look at how George Washington responded to that conflict, and then draw conclusions based on how he responded and how you would have responded yourself. And then we move on to the Constitutional Convention. So I want to leave at the end of the week with you looking at the important meeting that took place in Philadelphia in 1787. There were 55 delegates from the multiple states who met together to design the Constitution. Now it's interesting because this meeting was anonymous, and the meeting happened behind closed doors, and Patrick Henry was most famous for saying, "I smell a rat," because he didn't trust what was going on at the Constitutional Convention and was very suspicious about the Founding Fathers meeting and designing a new plan of government, especially a plan that was going to make the states more centralized under a common executive body. So that's where we will end the week, with you looking at what happened during the Constitutional Convention and the number of different plans that were proposed for creating the new state under a new government. Okay, so essentially that's what you're going to do in week 1. And as I said earlier, if you're not done with Essential Unit 1, I understand. A few of you joined the class late, so my expectation is that you finish Essential Unit 1 before moving on to Essential Unit 2. Don't worry, you will eventually get caught up. There will be time, and if you feel like you cannot figure out how to plan how you're going to get caught up with us and on proper pacing, then please don't be afraid to contact me. I am happy to help. I will guide you through and get you to where you need to be. Okay, so I hope you have a good rest of the day. I look forward to working with you in Unit 2 and moving you along your way. Bye.